Today we're making a patriotic spiral flower wreath. All of the products I use and the links of where you can purchase them are in the description below. Let's get started. So we're going to make a patriotic spiral flower today. And what we're going to use is a 14-inch wire form from the Dollar Tree. Okay. We're going to use poly burlap. We have it in red, white, and navy. And then we have the plastic canvas. And what we're going to do with the plastic canvas, I'm going to take a Sharpie. We're going to trace out the inner circle, cut that out, and attach it using 4-inch zip ties. Now, when you attach it, don't close the zip ties all the way because we're going to be moving the plastic canvas around at first, just so that we can get it aligned the way we want it, okay? And I will explain that here in just a second. I'll be right back. So what I did, I attached the plastic canvas to the 14-inch wire form, and then I kind of moved it around until the grid of the plastic canvas aligned with these crossbars on either side. Okay, it's only going to do that to one because there's 6 crossbars and we're going to want 8 lines here. And I'll explain why here in a second. So it just makes it easier for me. I have a straight line going across here, and then I use my cutting mat to give me a sense of where I need to be. Okay, so that goes straight across there. So I go straight up and down here. And then these lines here, this one here in the middle is exactly 45 degrees. So if I kind of go with that, make sure I'm straight up and down, straight across here, go with that 45-degree angle. And then I turned it around, did the same thing there, okay? So that way we made 8 lines because we are going to be, you'll see what we're doing here in just a sec. But that is how you prepare the form, and then we're going to go from here. I will show you how to make the petals, okay? Okay, I'm going to show you this using the red, but I'm going to be doing this with the red, the white, and the blue poly burlap, okay? These are 10-inch rolls. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this in 10.5-inch pieces, okay? So here is my 10-inch mark. So I'm just going to go to the 10.5-inch and very slowly cut between the lines of the poly burlap. Okay, so I'm going to have the finished side on the top and the bottom. I'll bring this down and kind of line it up the best that I can. And what I want is for this top part to come just under where that finished edge ends. That way it doesn't peek out from underneath there whenever we make our petals. Okay, now just go from here right along that finished edge, just nice and slowly. We are fusing the top part with the bottom. Okay. So there we have that fused side together, okay? And when you turn this up, we have the finished edge on that left side. The fused edge will be on your right, Okay, I'll set this aside. What I'm going to do right here in the center, I'm going to pinch that up and then scrunch in on one side, scrunch in on the other. And then zip tie it. We're going to zip tie it as close as we can to that edge. And this should end up being about 7 inches long, which we're going to kind of fluff it out. So after we're done fluffing, it'll be 7 inches, just under, okay? But we want all of our petals to be that same size for the outside ring, okay? And you'll see what I'm doing, because as we are going in, we are going to make our petals smaller and smaller. Okay, so I have 3 blue made, 3 red, and only 2 white. Okay, so I'll show you how I'm going to attach them. I'm going to use my 6-inch zip ties, and I'm going to go not the outer ring and not that second, but that third from the outside. And I'm going to use that crossbar. Okay. And you know what? Just because it's on these rings, I want to make sure it is definitely straight out. So since I went in this direction, I'm going to go in this direction just to make sure it's good and straight. And I'm going to do that for all of these. Okay. And now I'm going to, right where this line is, that's where I'm going to put my second blue. Okay. And then that third line. So next I'm going to do red here, white, red, white, red. Okay, so now we're going to make our next set of petals, and I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, let's make sure these are all. Okay, so I have, again, we're making sure the finished side is on that left side, which if we cut it correctly, that's the way it will be. Okay, so I'm going to make the petals exactly the same. Okay, scrunch and scrunch. But this time, I'm going to put the zip tie up a little bit higher. Okay, we're going to make this, instead of 7 inches long, maybe 6 3/4. Or 6 1/4, I'm sorry. Okay, so that's more about 6 1/2. I tightened that up too quick. Okay, let's do this again. Okay, so I'll grab a zip tie. And this time, let's not tighten it until we figure out exactly where we want this. So we want this to go up just a little bit more. So that we're 6 1/4 inches long. Okay. And I'm going to be doing this with, I'll do 3 blue, 3 red, and 2 white again, okay? And when we're done with this, we can always cut this end off just so that it's not going to take up too much space and kind of get in our way, okay? But I will be cutting these off, and then I'll be back here and I'll show you what I'm going to do with the next row, okay? Okay, so I have my wreath back out again, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the next row of petals on, and I'm going to start with the blue again. Now, I know we only have 8 lines. I wasn't going to draw anymore because I didn't want to get too confusing. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go like right on the inside of this inner ring and in between these 2 lines. Okay. I'm going to do another petal. And this is with the shorter petal that we just made. And I'm going to do that going all the way around. Okay. So the red is going to go here, white, red, white. So we're just going to keep going to the left of each of the previous petal that we put on there. Okay, so I'm going to make petal for the 3rd row in, 3rd row from the outside, I guess. So again, we're making them exactly the same. It's just when we put the zip tie on, we're going to go up even higher. Okay, I want to measure this to be 5.5 inches. So we're going to go up even more. Okay. So there you go. We're doing them at 5.5 inches. And just kind of hold that together as you go up. Okay. And then we will just cut this bottom part off as we go along, just to make sure this doesn't get in the way of everything else. Okay, so we're going to do this to, again, 3 red, 3 blue, and 2 white. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to go further in. What I was trying to do, I drew some circles, kind of freehand. But I think what I'm going to do, this first line that I did here, I'm going to go like put my zip ties just above that line. So we are going to be like right where these, the tips of the bottom of the previous petal, if that makes sense. I kind of want to be right at that bottom. That's just about an inch. So, okay, so we're going to be going about an inch in. Okay, so what I'm going to do, that was our first row. This is the second row, third row. That's kind of how we're going. Okay, so now we have our next row of petals done. These were cut at 5 inches instead of 5.5. You can just see it's just barely shorter than the previous one. So I'm going to do this, that line, that circle that I drew. I mean, that was all freehand. So yeah, it might be a little wonky, but okay. So what we're going to do, see how we went blue, blue, blue. This is going to be the third row of the blue right here. So I'm going to go right in between and try to match. You'll see here, I'm going to try to match the points of this petal with the points of that, kind of, so it goes straight up. Okay, so I just wanted to show you these petals. These are now going to be 4.5 inches from the zip tie to the tip of the petal. Okay, yes, we are going to cut all of this off, and yes, it does look like a jellyfish, doesn't it? And so anyhow, but we're going to be cutting all of this off. I seriously was considering cutting everything in 5x5 pieces for this inside petal, and I actually attempted it, but when we go to make the petal, it's only going to be about 3 inches, 3.5. So that's not going to be quite big enough. This is going to be 4.5. So yeah, we're wasting an awful lot of mesh. I know it breaks my heart, but it's going to look good. Okay, so we're going to do one last row. Okay, so as you can see, we got first, yeah, and I'm counting the blue, that first line of blue. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to put that last blue right here, the first blue on the last row. So I have a 5-inch styrofoam ring here from the Dollar Tree. It comes 2 in a pack. And then I have this utility rope. This is the packaging. Of course, it's ripped, but it is 1/4 inch, 7 millimeters. I think this is going to work out just fine. I actually already made a different center, and I decided I didn't like it. I used this it was a styrofoam ball that I cut in half, and I just decided it stuck out too much from the actual wreath itself, and I just didn't like how It looked like a boob. Okay, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to save that for another wreath, one that has a little more fluff to it. This one's nice and flat, so we need something more flat. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to use just a steak knife, cheap steak knife from Dollar Tree, and just cut around the edge. And I'll take some sandpaper and smooth it down so this edge here is a little more curved, and then I'll be right back. Okay. So I have my 5-inch styrofoam thing for the center, okay? And yes, you can see where I just kind of sanded, yeah, I cut it down and then sanded it just to make it just a little more rounded. So we're good there. Okay, I have these greening pins here. These are about 3 inches long, which is too long for me to use in here. All I did, I used my wire cutters, cut them down. This is just a little over an inch. You can go up to, I'd say, 1.5 inches, because when we do put these in here, we're going to try to go from, you know, to the side, or at like maybe a 45-degree angle, something like that. We just don't want it coming out the back. Okay. And I have here some stem wire that I got from Joann Fabrics. Make sure you get the thinner one. Of course, there is nowhere on here that I can find that says whether it's a 22 gauge, 20 gauge, whatever. So just take a look at it. Make sure you're getting the one that's a little bit thinner. It's just a little easier to work with. You can use the thicker one. It'll be fine. Okay? But what I'm going to do, I'm going to bend this in half. Okay? And just stick it through the center. So it comes out the back side. Kind of push that down. And I'm going to push these both to the side here. Okay? Kind of flatten that down. Okay, so this is what we are going to use to put through the wreath and tie it on. And I just figure it's a lot easier to do it that way than to just glue to the back, because I'm always afraid that's going to come undone. Okay, so there is that. Now, I'm going to take my rope, kind of get this started here. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of get this in here. Yeah, I want it to go. And try to get this in here from the side, because we don't want any of that pin showing. So we don't want to go straight up and down. We want to use this, kind of get it to go through the rope and then down into the styrofoam. And that's just to kind of hold it there in the very beginning. Now I'm going to take my glue gun, kind of put a good dab of glue there. And I want to go over top of that end, because guess what? That's going to unravel and it's going to look pretty bad if we don't take care of it right in the very beginning. Okay. And just keep gluing and just spin it around. Try to make sure you don't accidentally glue your fingers. And then and that's what we're going to keep doing. Keep going all the way around. Okay, so we're going to finish this up. I'm going to do a little bit more glue right here. Okay. And then I'm going to cut this off here. And then right here, I'm just going to go to the side at an angle, push that in. Okay, yeah, I'm getting glue all over me. Okay. And then I'm going to go this way also, just to kind of double secure it. And kind of make sure I'm at a good angle, because we definitely don't want it coming out the top there. Okay, now I'm going to grab my flower, and I'm just going to take this wire, kind of make sure I'm good in center in here. And push it through around the other side. Now before I secure it, I'm going to make sure that's good. And yeah, that looks good. So just twist it. And we'll cut these off. Okay. And that's our center. Okay, so I wanted to show you, this is the label that is on these stars. There are 3 different sizes, which I've actually, I got several bags. These are the super small ones. I have no idea what I'm ever going to use these for, but I know I'll figure something out eventually. But I have these small ones, then there's some medium, and then there's large. Okay, you can see the different sizes. Okay, so what I'm going to use is the medium. I already painted them white. Okay, I just used, here's the paint. Okay, I used this gloss enamel white paint here. Just used a regular paintbrush, did 2 coats, and this is glossy, but it's not overly glossy. It looks good. Okay, and all I'm going to do, I'm going to glue them onto this blue part of this wreath. Okay, and for the outside, the larger petals, like the first 2 rows, I'm going to go ahead and glue 2 on, and then from this point on, I'll just do just 1 on each petal when we get closer to the center. Okay. Okay guys, so it's traditional for me to have a glass of wine whenever I'm done with any of my wreaths, and I love this one. I decided for my wine, I got this Suitor Home. It's a lemonade, okay? And I just dropped a couple cherries down in there. So that's gonna be my wine, my celebration wine for today. So I gotta show you my wreath, okay? And here it is. Is that not absolutely adorable? I love it. It turned out very much like I wanted it to. So I'm pretty excited. You can definitely see the swirl pattern in there. So that's good. That's what I wanted. So we're happy with that. Now, there's a lot of people that always say, I want to see the back. Okay, so here you go. Here is the back. And it doesn't look bad, but I probably would cover the back with some felt. I do have white felt, so I will probably cover it before I go to sell it. Okay. But there you go. Let's celebrate. So if you have any questions, just leave them here. I did use, let's see, I used 15 of the blue, 15 red, and 10 white altogether. And yeah, it's pretty simple. The amount of stars, I used 21 of the stars altogether. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Patty Davis. I'm with Crooked Tree Creations, and I'll see you in our next video.